I keep hearing, stop bringing politics into our perfume. Stop bringing politics into our book talk. Saying, let's not make things political, comes from such a place of privilege that it actually makes me feel sick. Having the choice to not engage in politics means that you are living in such a privileged, mainstream way that the whole world is made for your comfort to such a degree that you do not realize the way in which queer people and people of color and people from other marginalized groups have to go through the world constantly navigating and adjusting for the pressures and threats to their physical bodies and personal freedoms. And if you are part of one of those marginalized groups, you will certainly notice it when it is your group being attacked. Saying or posting or sharing content that amplifies the voices of oppression and hate is not just sharing your opinion. It does real damage to real people, whether it's anti-trans or anti-Muslim or anti-Sikh or anti-Black or sexism or some other form of bigotry or hate. And it doesn't only hurt the people that you are targeting in that community. It empowers the kind of people that feel actual hate in their heart and who do actual violence with that hate to feel empowered to harm and do violence to anyone that they see as different from themselves. If you do not like trans people, sure, you have the right to that opinion, but you may not, and especially as a public figure, post things that are openly hostile towards that group or any group and expect that there will not be repercussions to you or your brand, because there will certainly be repercussions to the people who you are targeting. That is not just sharing your opinion, that is publicly supporting a stance that leads to actual harm. It leads to real human beings losing their rights and their lives. And if you think that that's going to stop with them, whoever they are, you're going to be surprised when they come for you too. Because the people who planted this seed knew exactly what they were doing. Because if we can erode the rights from one group of people, and if we can get the momentum going that we are restricting human rights, anyone's human rights, then that machine is in place to continue those restrictions to whatever group is going to be villainized next. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir on this one, but it's to protect the children rhetoric holds no water. Statistically, 93% of children who are assaulted are harmed by a trusted adult in their life, and 40% of those are a family member. Your daughters and your wives and your sisters are 99.99% going to be harmed by an openly heterosexual male, and 60% of all SA cases are by a person a woman already knows, and 40% of that is by an intimate partner. Women and children are overwhelmingly harmed by someone in their life that they already know and trust. Statistically, heterosexual men do nearly all of the violence to women and children in the whole wide world. So if you really cared about the safety and protection of women and children, you would be rooting out the actual evil in the actual places it lives, and not villainizing people who just want to live their lives in peace. And the last thing I'll unpack today, as a former teacher and educator and current librarian, is talking about protecting children on sports teams. There are many, many, many studies that indicate the social, emotional, and psychological health benefits from mixed gender sports teams. It boosts confidence, it boosts cross-gender relationship building, it diminishes stereotyping, allowing for children of all genders to express themselves in ways that are authentic to themselves and not overshadowed by the expectation of gender stereotypes. It lowers instances of depression and anxiety. Schools in which gendered players have joined teams of the opposite gender have made accommodations that have been practical and safe for everyone. Instances where trans players have played, likewise, have had those same accommodations. And the only time harassment is actually happening is towards the trans player, not the other way around. So maybe it's toxic masculinity that's the problem. Maybe it's the sexism and the racism and the homophobia that is the problem. You keep making up all of these examples, but where are your statistics? It happening once in an obscure place is not a pattern of behavior where harm is actually being done in light of the overwhelming evidence that the opposite is true and nothing is being done to address it. If all of these people really cared and put all of this time and money and effort and energy into organizations like the Mama Bear Project, these organizations that are struggling to support themselves in order to bring actual help to victims, would have money coming out of their ears. I am a librarian. I'll show you my sources. They are academic and researched, scientifically valid.